I went to a conference in California, and we had a project where we had to develop our ideal community.
Right.
And the other groups were all putting in school gardens, and I'm an educator. So I had never heard of a school garden. So I'm like, what in the world? I've been at all these schools, never seen a school garden. What is this you speak of? So the next day, the instructor puts up a video of Ron Finley, the gangster gardener. He does his TED Talk, and he opens up with, I'm from South Central Los Angeles, where the drive-through is killing more people than the drive-by.
Amen.
And when he said that, I'm like, okay, I know South Central Los Angeles, right? That's Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood. You know what I mean? Like, why is that resonating with me? And I live in Petersburg, Virginia. So I dive into this, into this rabbit hole of food deserts, right? And I realized that Petersburg is a food desert.
And, a lot of people know what a food desert is, but a lot of people don't. A lot of urban areas are not served by traditional grocery stores and by retail chains. Same thing happens in rural America. We often forget. We think, well, gosh, rural Americans live where the food comes from. Well, how would they have any trouble? Well, what if where you live, all the farming is dedicated to onions or broccoli or whatever is best suited for that area? Well, there might not be a super center in your neighborhood where you can go have access to fresh and nutritious food. The dollar store might be where you go shop. So it's very reflective of an urban environment, but a food desert is simply where there's a concentrated population that does not have consistent, guaranteed access to fresh, healthy food.
What are we gonna do about this? So, cool, we're gonna grow. You know what I mean? We're gonna sow and grow. So I didn't have any land besides my home, so we took my front yard, we turned it into a community garden. My front yard went from a lawn to 25 raised garden beds, and we named it the Petersburg Oasis Community Garden. And we were intentional about that name. It was unapologetically Petersburg. It was an oasis because we live in a so-called food desert, right? And then it was a community space, so a community garden. It's been a long journey. We've been about 10, 11 years in this. So it started off in the front yard, and now we're here on a 5-acre community farm, but there's been a lot in between that. I was a farm assistant on this same land. I was granted, the owner prior to that, I was granted a piece of this land to turn into a space, but that didn't work out. We started school gardens that didn't survive because there was no management of the gardens. We've started community gardens that didn't make it because the management of the apartment complex took it back. So there's been a lot of bumps, on the way, but what I've learned is not only how to survive in the so-called food desert by growing food, but I've learned how to thrive now in this food desert by starting our own businesses, by doing social entrepreneurship. So where there wasn't a way, we made a way. The space that we're on is the Petersburg Oasis Youth Farm. This is designed and dedicated to the youth, the next generation of growers in Petersburg. So it's up to them. We built the canvas for them. It's up to them, and we showed them the colors. It's up to them, to figure out what they want to put on there.
Can we take a look around and see what
Please,
you're doing?
please.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Lead the way.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.